So today we're on with this 2018 Peugeot boxer van. This is another van we've purchased. It's got some faults on the dash, main one being it's got a AdBlue fault and it's got the countdown timer on. It's saying it's got 180 something miles before it will not start. Obviously once that is down to zero, the vehicle will not start at all. So we've run through a few bits. We've actually gone ahead and probably jumped the gun a little bit, and we've actually replaced the knock sensor because the codes that we got on the plug-in was all pointing towards a knock sensor, and we know they are quite common on these vans. However, after replacing that knock sensor, the fault remained, so we're going to run through a few bits now. Hopefully this might save some of you guys some money in the future. Now this is suffering from an AdBlue issue. We do have on the dashboard a countdown timer. I think it's 180 miles till non-start. We have tried a new knock sensor on this because we are getting fault codes for the knock sensors. However, that hasn't changed anything and these faults will not clear. So we're now delving into the wiring. So we pop this headlight out. We've been chasing the wiring back, so we've tested all the wiring up here, all seems good, and then we've jumped down the pit. This is our new knock sensor that we've tried on the van. Again, this hasn't made any difference. The knock sensor is just located behind the DPF, and this just mounts off up out of the way. So we have had this plugged in. Again, it hasn't made any difference, so we're chasing the wiring for this knock sensor plug back. We did come across a previous repair there, but that still seems quite solid. We'll probably chop that out and put a solder joint in there with some heat shrink. So we've chased all this loom back all the way across, all the way down here. We found a couple of dodgy wires up here in the knock sensor can lines. These are the can high and low, so we'll be repairing those. However, they are still connected, so that isn't the cause of our issue. So we follow it further up and along the chassis leg. The loom goes up here, along there. Now we've just come across this. Now this is looking quite suspicious, and as you can see there, that green wire there is one of our can lines which we're having issues with. The readings on this are fluctuating all over the place. I'll show you the readings we're getting in a minute. So that's one of our can lines, as you can see up there, that is all green, and this wiring loom is absolutely full of water. Now this is behind the passenger side or near side bumper corner. So I'm just going to pop this wheel arch liner off and investigate this wiring up here in a minute. We're hoping that we're going to find the fault up in this wiring loom there. So I'll show you the readings we're getting on multimeter. So as you can see there, our cam readings are just jumping around all over the place. This is causing confusion with the knock sensor and obviously with the engine ECU. We're going to whip this trim off here now to give us better access to this loom. We'll have a poke around in there. This is the plug in question. We can now get to this a little bit easier. I'm going to get a torch out, unplug that, and see what it's looking like inside this plug. As you can see that it's absolutely wet through. So what we found was, after a lot of digging, obviously it looked as though someone had already been in here previously because there was lots of taped up joints and stuff, so I was expecting to actually find a broken wire or a partially broken wire up in here, but in fact what we did find was that this plug had actually filled up with water. So the water was causing sort of the wires to track across, giving dodgy readings. So we now have a solid reading on the can lines, which I'll show you in a sec. So I'll go down there now, I'll show you the readings what we've got compared to the readings we had. As you can see there now, all the faults have cleared. So with everything put back together, fault code's cleared. Let's go for a start up, see if these faults have cleared off the dash. Now before, with these codes active, we couldn't even clear them to get the faults off the dash, so that's the result. So all that stemmed back to that multi-plug just behind the passenger side front wheel arch. So that's something to look out for, guys, if you are struggling with any sort of AdBlue faults or knock sensor faults on these vans. It's always worth checking that wiring. Obviously this has cost us a knock sensor. Fortunately for us, this is a van that we've purchased, so the cost of that is on us, but obviously if you're doing this for a customer, that would be an expense that the customer wouldn't have to pay for. So definitely check the wiring down there before you start to go down the route of replacing the knock sensor. So I hope this video has helped some of you guys out. Please consider subscribing to the channel if it's been of help to you, and we'll see you all on the next video.